I had a fabulous weekend this weekend. It started really on Saturday night. I went to a little drinks party in a garden. I took one of my sons with me, and we took our own booze in carrier bags. You know, we still think the polar bears are going to do all right. And when we got there, there were people sitting in the garden and people mixing up Pims in the kitchen. Um, I can't really go for Pims. It just, to me, it looks like a salad that's floating on booze. And, I like salads, I like booze, but I don't like them together. And so we were drinking out of cans, so what. And all of the girls there, all of them, they were all very, very beautiful girls. And one, in fact, was a model. And the purpose of a model, of course, is to look beautiful. And, God, she was very, very beautiful. It was a very comfortable evening. We could have stayed for ages, but we had to get down to the pub to watch the boxing, which was going to be on later. I know boxing's a circus of the gutter, but it's nevertheless very real. And I enjoy it. Blokes enjoy it. And when the boxing came on, which was much later than I thought, by then I was in my cups, and I was shouting at the TV, and which is a waste of time. But I was shouting at the TV, and it was a tremendous, tremendous bout. It only went on for 5 rounds, and that's long enough. It was very brutal, but it was fantastic. And I got a taxi home because the following morning it was important. I got up early because I had an assignation with a friend of mine, and we had arranged to go up a mountain because we're both hunter-gatherers. That's what we are. We are both hunter-gatherers, and we have that in common. And we don't go for power sports and gymnasium, bloody working out and all that sort of stuff because I don't know. It's all to do with bloody iron bars and stuff like that, isn't it? And nylon clothing and all that. Anyway, we didn't do it. And the following morning, off we went, and on the first nice day, which was the arrangement. And off we went. And we got to where we needed to be and parked the car up, and we just for a moment, and we started to walk across this heathland. We were well prepared, man. We were well prepared. A rucksack and, in my case, a game bag I had slung about my person. And I had water in there, and also some Ambre Solaire Factor 30 sun cream, because I don't want my skin to get damaged. I don't end up with wrinkles and shit like that, because it ages you prematurely, apparently. I wouldn't want that to happen to me. And we just walked across the heathland and then down into this most enchanted wood that you could ever imagine. Well, you couldn't imagine unless you went there. They were all stunted oaks. They were all growing on the wiggle sort of thing, and there were ferns growing up amongst the trees. It was quite dense. There was a track through it, and in situations like that, in places of great beauty, and this was so beautiful. I mean, it could have been a film set for Lord of the Rings. I get totally carried away. I am, for a moment, I'm able to do it in lots of different places. Instead of being a visitor there, I am part of it, which is what I felt there. And I went off on a little flight of fancy, looking at shapes in the trees and stuff like that. And then I imagined Merlin, the magician, coming towards me on a white horse. Only I could see him. It was only my imagination, of course, because the day before I'd had some of those shiitake mushrooms there. I mean, one of the supermarkets. I thought I'd try them. Very interesting, very interesting. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll have them again. I don't know. But it was like I was hallucinating, but privately. There was no problem. I didn't feel ill or anything. And Merlin came towards me on this horse, a white horse that was had like steam coming out of his nostrils, like nasal mist or something. Nist. Yeah, that's the word for it. Nist. Coming out of this horse's nostrils, and it was looking like this. And Merlin started to speak to me, and it was all garbled, but I knew exactly what he was saying, because I believe in him now and again. I think, not now and again, I think I'm going to meet him one day. And he held out this small piece of holly stick, which he'd taken all the leaves off and everything, and just a little bit of stick, and he told me it was magic. He wanted to give it to me, and with this stick, I would be endowed with powers to sort out people's problems. Not my own, because by now I had no problem. I had no problems at all. It was a wonderful experience. And he was just about on his horse. He leant forward, and I grasped it. I could smell the horse, and my companion said she needed a piss. Fair enough. We'll have a piss. And I think I'll go to that tree over there. Yeah, okay, yeah. It looks like a lavatory to me, so, go over there. Hey, there's no side, is there, with this? This is a real bloody friend, I need a piss, I'm going to have a piss, so off she went and she had a piss. And I made sure I walked on a little bit because I didn't want to hear any noises at all. I mean, I didn't expect her to fart when she pissed. I often do that, but I don't expect girls to do it. But I've been in the proximity of girls who pissed, and it does make a different noise to a bloke's pissing. And I just didn't want to, embarrass her. I didn't want to hear the sound, so I just walked on. I'd walked on some distance, and then because we were in the middle of nowhere, really, at that particular point, I could smell bird flu gel. I don't know if you can remember that. A couple of years ago. Well, yeah, 2 years ago, I suppose, something like that. Bird flu. No, swine flu. Swine flu was all the rage. It was heavily advertised. Everybody was going to get swine flu, and so you had these gel to spray over your hands, and everywhere just smelled of it. Squirt this on, and apparently you can obviously still get it, and that was a little fresh up thing. Anyway, we left the Enchanted Wood, and we soon we came to open heathland, and there before us, looming up like some great big bloody challenge, was this mountain. It's fucking huge. And it also seemed very far away. And off we went, and we were, bloody gassing away like mad and having a laugh and all this, that and the other. And after a while, and it was quite a while, we started to get to the very steep part, the ascent, I think they call it. And it almost seemed like the conversation had run out, and we had nothing to say to one another, but that wasn't true at all. We were both absolutely fucking knackered. So I suggested we sit down, take a rest for a little, oh God. That's okay, yes. It's all up there. Yeah, that's all of it. So we took a little rest, and there were people walking up, and people that had been up walking back, and all that sort of thing. There was a little sort of like knowing nods and all that sort of stuff, and just needed the rest. So we carried on. We eventually carried on, and up we went, and we were then climbing on big stones and big tufts of grass and bits of bank and stuff like this, and up and up and up and up, until eventually we came upon the top together. We came together on the top, and of course there's no shelter up there. The bloody wind was bloody howling. It was blowing in all directions. There's just a few sheets of bloody rock and stones on the floor, on the ground, the floor. There were no railings. Oh, fucking hell, health and safety. Here we are. We're bloody thousands of feet up in the air. And the wind was blowing like mad. I thought the least that was going to happen was we were going to get tossed off. And we decided, we didn't decide, we just did it instinctively. We did it, we sat on the ground. We just sat down. Fucking hell, this is, whoa, bloody hell. And I could feel, my bum was going through me a bit half-crown. Whoa, Christ, I'm bloody frightened, yeah. And my intrepid companion, because she is intrepid, she started to laugh. She was laughing. Yeah, that was the sound. But her face, fucking hell, it was like in rictus. It was like shock, And I thought, yeah, I'm shitting myself too. We were both shitting ourselves, and we were laughing, saying, fucking, this is not good, We'll have to lie down. And so we sort of lay back on the grass and everything. It didn't matter about the sheep shit there and stuff like that. Fuck that, I just want to stay here. And for all the world, I just wanted somebody to come along and nail my bloody clothing to the ground so I wouldn't fucking shift. And then she said, I think I'm going to spin out. Spin out? I said, yeah, I spun out once before. And it was recent, and now I know what it is. I'm fucking scared of heights. And Jesus Christ, spinning out, I am spinning out, this is it. It took quite some time to regroup. That was the best way, and there was a moment when I thought, well, this is just going to happen. It's going to happen. And, in my head, I thought, well, if it's going to happen and we're both going to fucking die, is it okay if I hold your tits until I die? I mean, I didn't say that because it was a wonderful day, but there was all sorts of things went through my head, and I also thought of that cry of women and children first. Well, in situations like that, when you really do believe you're up against it, fuck it, every man for himself. I'm sorry, yeah, you are my friend, but I'm looking after myself right now, and those feelings passed. They eventually passed. We were able to stand up and just walk around the top there, and it was quite impressive and spectacular. And then the time came that we would walk down. We would walk back down, and off we went, down a different way. And you could really see then, as you were going down, how bloody steep it was, to get up there in the first place. But it was fantastic. And on the way back to the car, we met a couple, a very lovely young couple, and they had a few dogs with them, and one dog on a lead. And the dog on the lead was a very happy dog, but it had white eyes. It was obviously totally blind, but it was very happy. And they explained that the dog was very happy up here because they'd walked the dog up there many times before it went blind and had this white eye stuff. And but they'd taken it to the beach recently, and apparently the dog fucking freaked out. And well, there's a lesson to be learned, isn't it? Don't take a blind dog to a beach. But I looked at this dog, and it was a sweet thing, very charming. But I'll be honest, if I'd seen that dog in that enchanted forest, not on a lead, and before I saw the people, I would have fucked off. I would have gone. I would have been off like a rocket, and I wouldn't have gone up the mountain, because some straightforward things seemed to spook me. And anyway, that was it. Anyway, we go back to the car, and it was all I could do not to go to sleep in the car. And I knew if I went to sleep, I'd have my gob open. And my friend was tired as well, and we joked about it and said, probably when we get back, we'll have a nan nap or a dad nap or whatever it's called, and but we didn't. We went to a carvery, and we were bloody starving, absolutely starving. We've all got wheelie bins now. If you can imagine the lid of a wheelie bin and the size of that. Well, if they'd had filled that full of bloody food, I would have eaten it. It was, we had loads. I had loads. I'm not normally a big eater, but I had loads and loads and loads, and it was again a wonderful meal. It was great. It's just a bloody carvery on a Sunday, but it was fantastic. And as I say, the day was great, and I got a bit of music that reminds me of this, and reminds me of the whole. I love to go a-wandering along the mountain track, and as I go, I love to sing my knapsack on my back. It's fucking shit, isn't it? I'll leave the Lord, I'll leave It's enough of that. Anyway, I tell you what, it was almost like the best day of my life, but obviously not the best day of my life because I'm still alive.